Hello and welcome to this video. In this video, I'll be showing you how to connect to a Microsoft Access database file. Microsoft Access database is commonly used in most organizations. I will be providing the Microsoft Access database file for you to download under the resource page for this video. If this is the first time of connecting to an Access database, you may be prompted to install the Microsoft Access Database Engine Redistributable. The link to install that is also displayed on the screen. When trying to connect to the Microsoft Access database file from within the Power BI desktop, if it is the first time of connecting to an Access database, you may be prompted with this message here that says unable to connect. That's because you haven't got the Microsoft Access database engine. So it also gives you a link here where you can go and download that engine. So once you download the engine, install it, then go back and try and reconnect to that Access database. If you do get any connection errors to the Microsoft Access database file, this is the page you need to come, and you need to download this Microsoft Access database engine. So when you click on this download option here, it gives you two files depending on the operating system type. If you're running a 64-bit, then you need to check and download the 64-bit. If you're running a 32-bit, then you need to download and run the 32-bit engine, which is this one. So once you've run and installed that, you can then go back and try and connect to the Access database from the Power BI desktop. When you launch the Power BI desktop, you will see this startup splash screen. If you are not signed in, you'll see this option here to sign in. The advantage of signing in is to make it easier for you to collaborate and share your content. The sign-in credentials is the same as the credentials you use to sign in to the Power BI service. So to connect to a data source, you have two options. Within this startup area, you can click on the Get Data link, or inside the Power BI desktop, there is an option here that says Get Data. They both do the same thing. So let's click on this link here, Get Data, and that will launch the Get Data screen. So within the Get Data dialog box, there are a variety of data sources you can connect to. You can see it's all listed here. We are going to connect to Access database. So I click on Access and then click on the Connect. It will then give you an option where you can browse to the file you want to access. So the Access database file is going to be in a zipped format. So you need a software extraction tool. For example, WinRAR. WinRAR is free. You can download it for free, which is what I'm using to extract the content. So I'm just going to right click and click extract here, and that will just extract the content of that zipped file, which is my Access file. So I'm just going to click on it, and on here I'm just going to click on the drop down and click on Access database so that it only shows Access database files. I'll select that and click open, and it will open the content in the navigator window of the Power BI desktop. The Power BI navigator shows you the data it has connected to from your data source. So to view the content of each of these tables, you can just click on it and it will display what's inside this window area. So you can click on each of this table and see what data is inside. Before you can bring the data into the Power BI desktop, you must check on the box next to each of the table, and then you have these three options: either to load the data the way it is. You can edit it. If you click on edit, it will bring up a Power Query window that will enable you to make whatever transformation or modifications to the data before you load it. The other option is to cancel the operation completely. So I'm going to click on the checkbox next to all of these tables, and then we can load the table inside the Power BI desktop. So now I've got all the tables checked, 6 of them. I just click load, and that will load the data inside the Power BI desktop. This can take a bit of a while because the data set will contain a lot of rows, so it may take time to, you can see here, it tells you all the rows from each of the tables that it is bringing across into the Power BI desktop. So you can see here on the right under the fields here, all the tables from that Access database have now been brought in to the Power BI desktop, so I can interact with them from within the Power BI desktop. So once you've done, you can save your file. You can see my file is saying untitled at the moment, so you can always save your file by going to the file option and then do a save as. I'm saving my Power BI desktop file with a name. I've just given it connecting to Access database file, and I'll click save. So by saving the file, I can reuse this file again if I want to, or I can make a copy of this file and just make some other transformation with that file. In case I don't want to mess around with the original file, I can take a copy of it. So that is it for this video on connecting to a Microsoft Access database file from the Power BI desktop.